But I'm just walking around the outside of Kenilworth Castle. For those of you who don't know what's happening, and to be perfectly honest, there's quite a lot of us here in Britain who don't know what's happening, because obviously this hasn't happened for over 70 years, is yesterday they made the proclamation of King Charles as king, and effectively that proclamation then is spread out throughout the rest of the country. And there's a lot of us, myself included, thought that, well, London does it, and then Edinburgh and Cardiff and Belfast will do it, and maybe places in the Commonwealth where, I was going to say the Queen then, where King Charles is the king, they do that proclamation in those other capital cities as well, and that'd be it. But that isn't it. What happens is that basically every council in the country is making that same proclamation. We're assuming today. I was slightly annoyed because they made the proclamation in Coventry at 1 o'clock today, and if I'd known about it, I'd have been there. I got into Coventry about 20 minutes after it happened. And yeah, so this is happening at every place where there is a council here in the country. And the thing is, where we are here in Warwickshire, we have a tertiary authority. So the county council, and there's district council, and there's town council. So a proclamation was made earlier today in Warwick at Shire Hall. Then another proclamation was made in Leamington. That's for Warwick District Council. I know it's confusing. And the one that's going to be made here is for Kenilworth Town Council. And if I can just spin round, you can see that we are over 20 minutes from the proclamation here in Kenilworth. Quarter of an hour. Sorry, 20 minutes before the proclamation. We're 5 minutes before the gates actually open, and you can see the queues here already. Well, that's a very good question. How many councils are there? Because although Kenilworth is a town council, in terms of the way that the tertiary system works, it's effectively on the same level as a parish council. So that would suggest that all the parishes have to do this as well. All the tiny villages in the rest of Warwickshire will have to have the rest of the country, I should say, will have to have a proclamation like this. I don't know if that's the case. Obviously, Kenilworth sits at the same level as a parish in the system, but it is a town. There's about 30,000, well, what about 27, 28,000 population? I'm not totally certain. It's over 25,000, but I'm not sure what. I'm saying I don't know because we would have had a census last year, and I'm not sure what the numbers were, but over 25,000 live in Kenilworth. And the thing is, though, I don't think anyone really knew that this was happening until about 4 or 5 hours ago. So I think, given the exceptionally late notice, this is a pretty good turnout. See people who've joined the queue since I got here. As I was coming in, I went past a lot of people who you could tell very clearly were coming down here for this. There's a few events in Kenilworth that happen in and around the castle, and there are obviously routes that people walk to get to them. One of them is actually just down there. You might be able to make out. You don't need to just make out. I will zoom in. You'll be able to make out the road there, and you can make out one of the sides of the bridge. And every Boxing Day, as of 26th of December, there's a duck race that starts there, where about 1,000 yellow plastic ducks get chucked into the river. Well, the brook, Finham Brook, as it is, and they get raced through Abbey Fields. And I think you can win £100 if you bought the winning duck. But yeah, so bear in mind it's very late notice. I think the gates are now opening. So we'll go in. I have got a spare microphone, so I am going to endeavour to get that mic somewhere near the podium. Apologies if I don't make that. Obviously, with so many people in front of me, I'm not potentially going to be very near the front, but that's what gimbals are for, to raise things up. Yeah, it is quite, and that's I think why a lot of people want to be here, Lois. That this is history in the making, and obviously a lot of people, they won't have the opportunity to go down to London. In fact, to be honest, with the Queen's funeral, which is on the 19th of September, while a lot of people, there will be, as there have been in the past, Her late Majesty's body is currently on the way to Edinburgh. In fact, it might have actually made it there by now. I know they were crossing the Firth of Forth Bridge about a quarter of an hour ago, 15 minutes ago. But she'll lay in state at Holyrood Palace for a while, and then she'll be flown back to London, and she'll lay in state in Westminster Hall, which is, if you've ever been to the Houses of Parliament, that's the very first room that you go through now. You used to go in through St Stephen's Gate, but you're now going through Cromwell Gate. And after you've gone through security, you come back out and you enter into Westminster Hall, which is, oh, thank you. I thought you probably have made it to Edinburgh by now. But yeah, if you go into Parliament as a visitor, you'll go through Cromwell Gate, you go through security, you'll come back out into the open, and then you turn right to go into the Palace of Westminster, the Houses of Parliament, and the very first building you go in is this massive open hall, and that's Westminster Hall. That's actually used to be where Parliament sat, and the Queen will lie in state there, and people will be able to file past as she lays in state, and that's going to happen at Holyrood as well for the next couple of days, but I don't know which building at Holyrood Palace that will be. But with the funeral itself, it's in Westminster Abbey, so it's literally across the road from the Great Hall, Westminster Hall, or the Great Hall of the Palace of Westminster. So it's not, like you're going to have lots of people lining the route, because there is no route to speak of. It is literally across the road. So thank you very much. Cheers now. Sorry, the signal will just drop as we go through the Mortimer's Gatehouse here. It's fine, it will come back up straight away. Well, we've just gone through, it's about the only place where signal is spotty here in Kenilworth Castle. Well, unless you go into one of the buildings that's got 3 feet thick stone walls, like the water tower over there. No signal inside that thing. But it will be fine in and around here. Now, so we're just coming up to 0 on the clock, so it's now 4:15, 4:15 BST here in the UK, and as you can see, a bit of a crowd up the top. Now, it looks like you can go around the sides, because the problem is, if you can't, it might be a little bit difficult to see, because it's not just that there's people in front, so this is uphill. So if you're at the back here, there's very little you'll be able to see. Well, we've got people going round. Oh. Now, I think what I'm going to try and do is get up here behind these prams. And we're not 100% sure which way everyone's going to be facing over here. Looking at the way the speakers are set up, I think I'm completely on the wrong side. Oh, sorry. Oh, see, that's a great vantage point, but unfortunately I'll lose signal if I go up there. I think I've spotted it. I think I've figured out where to go. Oh, this fella's got here first. But I think so I can stand on the wall from the other side of the fence. Here. Okay, I think we're going to have a side-on view here. But, as I say, it'd be very difficult to get to the front because the problem is that that's downhill. So if you stand at the back over there, well, won't be able to see, but here we can see quite well. I will zoom in when things are starting, though it is going to be about another 10 minutes or so. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's clear that the speaker's pointing down the hill, so I assume that they're going to face that way. We may now have ended up on completely the wrong side. Well, yeah, getting up there on the Great Tower would have been a brilliant idea. But you know what? I'm going to see. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but because I don't know what the distance that this, I'm coming back now, that this mic will work from, but excuse me. Excuse me. Actually, would you mind if I sat on the floor in front of you? Could I sit on the floor in front of you? Thank you very much, because then I'm just going to sit. Why didn't I think of this? Just sit on the grass. Oh. So here we go. That's a lot better, isn't it? I might still be on the wrong side here. But so you can see the speaker right in front of me there. And I had thought I was just going to nip over. Oh dear. I'm just taking my jacket off. I had thought I was going to nip over and put my microphone down, but there's no need to do that because I can just sit on the grass with all the kids, which some would say would suit me. Now, have various dignitaries. Got the mayor over there, the MP, the Kenilworth, Jeremy Wright. He's sort of in the centre of that group. He's with the black suit, black tie, white shirt. Richard Spencer in the blue suit. He's one of the Warwickshire County councillors. Got one of the Peter there, one of the town councillors over there. In fact, he might be district as well. You know what? I'm not going to guess any name because I know that there's a couple of people with names there who I don't know. So, but yeah, this is basically these scenes are being repeated up and down the country right now, and it's pretty much everywhere that's got a council now. So early today there was a proclamation locally, say in Coventry. That was at 1 o'clock. Coventry is a unitary authority, so it's a city, so it only has the one council for that area. Here in Warwickshire, it's tertiary. So we have county councils, then district or borough councils, and then we have below that parish or town councils. See that girl's decided to go centre stage right in the middle of it. That's great. But so Kenilworth here is a town council, so it's at the same level. And this is one of the things I was trying to figure out earlier, whether or not, because Kenilworth is at the same level as parish councils, even though it's a town council. So I was trying to figure out whether all the places that have parish councils, all the tiny villages up and down the country, because everywhere at the very least has a parish council, whether they will have to make similar proclamations as well. And I'm afraid no one seems to know the answer to that I've spoken to. This is one of the latest ones. I think all the other ones that we know about in the area have happened. So Rugby, Atherstone, there was one in the Nuneaton, said Coventry and Leamington have both had those. I think the latest one of those was 2 o'clock, and this is starting to happen at 4:30. But as you can see, there is a reasonably good crowd here. Bear in mind that Kenilworth has a population just over, I think it's just over 25,000. It might be as high as 27 these days. Oh, there's George Illingworth, who's a former mayor of Kenilworth, in the black suit. He's just walked past. Well, I said I wasn't going to name people because I don't know who they all are, so that would be. Yeah, the castle here. We're actually looking at behind the podium group there. We're looking at the oldest part of the castle. Kenilworth Castle was first founded by Geoffrey de Clinton in around the year 1120. He founded the castle and the abbey, and there are, depending on which historical record you look at, they will say about the year 1119, maybe the year 1124, for either of those two things happening. Some people say the abbey was first, some say the castle was first, but they were around the same time. And let's face it, when you're building something in the 12th century that's as big as the Great Tower behind us, it's a Norman keep, so it's a great tower, it's a keep. It's also called Caesar's Tower, though it wouldn't have looked completely like this after Geoffrey de Clinton finished it in the 1120s. So there's basically 4 people who are credited with building the bits of Kenilworth Castle that still stand, and say Geoffrey de Clinton started that bit in around 1120. King John is responsible for the wall around the castle and the defensive lake that there used to be. The largest lake, the Great Mere, which sadly got drained after the Civil War. That was the largest. That was the largest man-made lake in the world, and that would have been built under the reign of King John around 1210 to 1216. Though part of the settlement in Magna Carta in 1215 meant he actually handed it over to the Baron, so he did all the work on it, but never actually got the castle. Then next would be John of Gaunt, who was the father of the man who became king. Oh, it's just a bit of a shush there. John of Gaunt would have done his work around 1370. He's the father of the man who became Henry IV. And then Robert Dudley did stack loads of work around 1570 for the visit of, partially for the visit of Elizabeth I over there. But one of the buildings that Dudley was responsible for is over there. It's called Leicester's Gatehouse, which is the building you see over there. But yeah, you can visit the castle. In fact, I actually do tours of this castle. I've got a couple coming up in a week or so's time. I can't remember the dates actually, but obviously I go around the castle while it's open. So they start either about 10 or 10ish, 10:15 in the morning, and about 3:30, because the tour's quite a long one. It's 75 minutes to do the whole thing, and of course if you live in Kenilworth, obviously it's been free for everyone to be let in today, but if you live in Kenilworth, it is actually free to get into this castle because it was given to the people of Kenilworth by Lord Kenilworth, or Baron Kenilworth more correctly, in 1958. It's now run by English Heritage, so if you're a member of English Heritage, you get it for free as well. But when they put on events like the Knights tournament that happened a couple of weeks ago, you do have to pay a little bit extra, even if you're one of whichever of those two groups you're in that might normally have a free ticket. Or she's wife. Sorry. Well, the thing is, if we go back far enough, find King John is possibly, everyone more or less is ancestors. There's lots of people who claim to be ancestors of Lady Godiva, and she had 3 children. So there's a lot of people. That was 1,000 years ago. So there will be. She didn't have 3 children. She had 3 great grandchildren that we know of. Yeah, sorry. She had 3 great grandchildren. But the point is that a lot of people claim ancestry from her because it will be there will be a lot of intermingling over the last 1,000 years. I'm saying now. Hopefully, the kids might sit down. You know what? Does it matter if the kids sit down? I might. See, I'm rather boxed in now. I can't stand up because I've got people behind me. I could. Oh, sorry, that's fine. And obviously, oh no, we're not late, are we? We're not meant to start for another 2 minutes. And as you can see, there's loads of kids who are thinking this is great fun, just running around. We've got another group of kids over on the right-hand side. Well, in terms of welcoming the Sussexes, I think that this moment in time, it's a moment of national mourning, and whatever's happened in the past, it's time to leave that behind. Now, what happens in a month or so's time when the dust has settled, we've really no idea. But obviously, while there's been, shall we say, a bit of a falling out up until this point, it's not the time to be dwelling on that, is it? At this point in time, so especially in this interregnum before the funeral. Anyway, I'm now going to be quiet because they're just starting with official proceedings, so I will keep my mouth shut during that time, and hopefully, I think we're close enough that all the sound will get picked up. Cool. Waiting now.
Welcome. We are joined here today by Mrs. Claire Hopkinson, who attends on behalf of the Lord Lieutenant of Warwickshire and my fellow town councillors and officers. We come together this afternoon following the passing of our late sovereign, Queen Elizabeth II. Our sadness at this time is shared by people across the globe, as we remember with affection and gratitude the lifetime of service given by our longest reigning monarch. But the basis on which our monarchy is built has ensured that through the centuries, the crown has passed in an unbroken line of succession. Today's ceremony marks the formal proclamation to the people of Kenilworth of the beginning of our new king's reign. Yesterday, the Accession Council met at St James's Palace to proclaim our new sovereign. The flags, which had flown at half-mast since the Queen's death, were raised briefly to their full height to mark the start of His Majesty's reign. The Accession Council also made an order requiring high sheriffs to cause the proclamation to be read in the areas of their jurisdiction. The High Sheriff of Warwickshire discharged that duty earlier today, and now, with my humble duty, I bring the words of the proclamation to the citizens of Kenilworth. The proclamation of the new sovereign is a very old tradition which can be traced back over many centuries. The ceremony does not create a new king. It simply is an announcement of the accession which took place immediately on the death of the reigning monarch. In an age where modern methods of communication convey news around the globe in an instant, the proclamation is no longer how people learn for the first time that they have a new monarch. However, today is one of the first occasions when communities have an opportunity to come together and reflect on the moment in our nation's history when the reign of our longest-serving monarch came to an end and our new sovereign succeeded. Ladies and gentlemen, the Proclamation of Accession. Whereas it has pleased Almighty God to call to his mercy our late sovereign, Lady Queen Elizabeth II, of blessed and glorious memory, by whose decease the crown of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is solely and rightfully come to the Prince Charles Philip Arthur George. We, therefore, the Lords spiritual and temporal of this realm and members of the House of Commons, together with other members of Her late Majesty's Privy Council and representatives of the realms and territories, aldermen and citizens of London, and others, do now hereby, with one voice and constant consent of tongue and heart, publish and proclaim that the Prince Charles Philip Arthur George is now, by the death of our late sovereign of happy memory, become our only lawful and rightful liege Lord Charles III, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of his other realms and territories, King, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith, to whom we do acknowledge all faith and obedience with humble affection, beseeching God by whom kings and queens do reign to bless, his Majesty with long and happy years to reign over us. Given at St. James's Palace this 10th day of September, in the year of our Lord 2022. God save the King.
God save the King. I would imagine we now sing the National Anthem. God save our gracious King, long live our noble King. God save the King. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the King.
Three cheers for His Majesty King Charles III. Hip hip.
Hey!
Hip hip.
Hey!
Hip hip.
Hey!
Thank you everyone for attending this proclamation.
Oh. I think the dog here, the fact that this dog here joined in with the three cheers.
This is Benji, and he is actually half a King Charles Cavalier.
He's half a King Charles Cavalier.
He's a cavapoo.
That's brilliant. But yeah, the dog joined in with the three cheers. That's brilliant. Right, I'm now on the floor and everyone's walking around me. So if you're no, I just need to. I'm just gonna place this down for a second because I need to put my jacket back on. Oh, yeah. Oh. So hopefully there haven't been a load of comments or questions in the last 2 minutes or so because when we had the National Anthem. Oh, thank you. Oh. Because when we had the National Anthem, I had to, obviously you have to stand up, but I left the camera on the floor, so I haven't seen anything that's happened on the screen for the last couple of minutes. So I'll just scroll back and see. Okay, so we've just got loads of people join. Oh, I hope everyone who joined actually was here to see. And you can see, yeah, obviously this has very much been a family occasion. And you see generations of all sorts of generations have been here, and yeah, it was really nice because the ones of these that you've seen up until now, they've been a bit more formal, should we say? And obviously, formal with a bit more official pageantry and garbs and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just waiting because I'm just looking to see what I did with the other microphone. I know, and I've got to say, I think quite a lot of the adults came in a bit too late, and I do think that our MP was a line behind there. We used to sing that at school, so I knew where to come in, and I think a lot of people didn't come in at the right time. And maybe if I hadn't have been quite so loud, a lot of people would still have been singing after the music had stopped. But hello.
How you doing?
Oh, very well, thanks. Cheers. Go on. What do you think? You know what? I'm going to interview someone. What do you think of today?
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't fully understand the protocol and the tradition of it all, but what a fantastic part of history to be part of. It's just amazing. Loved it.
And it's a fantastic place to be part of history.
What a building, yeah. Kenilworth Castle, so fantastic. Yeah, just to have this venue to do this proclamation is just amazing. So
brilliant.
Awesome. Nice to meet you again.
And now, am I going to clip this microphone back on, or am I just going to walk around with it? Yeah. Oh, look, a lot, and there's so many happy, smiling people. Yeah, not such a noisy dog there. Now, did your dog join in with the 3 cheers?
Possibly not.
Oh, you're letting the side down there.
But he kept quiet, so that was
No, that's it. Actually, that was very. I think. Well, the kids were very good as well. That they had been running around and playing, and then when it actually happened, everyone was very, very quiet. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for your comment. Sorry, I'm. Oh, thanks for the tips as well, of course. Yeah. Well, there's always been arguments about new anthems, and the thing was that it was. It's been very obvious with quite a few singings of the anthem in the recent days that people have started to say, for obvious reasons, "God Save the Queen," and where it was her, him. Oh, sorry, sing her, where it should be now him. But people will get used to it. But I think people will be getting that national anthem wrong for decades, really. Yeah, I think I will probably, because this is obviously a very much a one-off thing. When I get home, I will stick this video on YouTube and Facebook and that sort of thing, because I think there's plenty of people from you know what? Go on. Hello.
How you doing? You all right?
Very well, thanks very much.
You're sitting over there, right?
I was on the floor, and I'm still doing a live stream. So is there any? Yeah. You asked for it now. So is there anything you'd like to say? Go on. Which council are you here on behalf of?
Kenilworth.
Oh, you're here on Kenilworth.
I'm a member of Kenilworth Town Council. My name is Peter Jones, and it's lovely to see a sort of mixture of people here in all sorts of clothing, and you were very smartly dressed, Joe.
Well, I'm doing the broadcast, so I've got a look.
Looks like you might be going to the Undertakers later, but there we go. And everybody's getting on well, and party politics is forgotten, divisions are forgotten. You know, we've come together to mark this momentous event.
Yes,
And
what a great place to be.
Oh, historic place.
Such a piece of history.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I agree.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Back to you.
Thanks, Peter. This I will put it on Facebook and YouTube in a couple of hours' time. Actually, okay. Let's see. Oh, we've got another. Let's see. Who can we grab? Oh, turning around. some people shifting around very. No, I don't want to be on the camera with that man. Oh, that's our MP over there, Jerry White. I thought I might try and grab a word with him, but seems to be having a very engaging conversation with the scout leader over there. I'm going to see if the mayor can grab the mayor for a second now. Where she's got a load of people. No, hello again. Oh, go on. I'll try and grab George here. I'll try and grab George here because at least I know. I'm very well. Go on. I'm going to have to shake you left-handed because I
didn't recognise you after you're all dressed up.
Thanks very much, George. That's lovely. But what do you think of today then?
I think the impression of having an event here is wonderful.
Yes.
I think it's a royal setting, isn't it, in a castle?
It is, absolutely.
And it's as good as many of the other castles that are around.
Absolutely.
So I'm delighted to be here.
Thanks very much, George. That's lovely. Do you mind if I just ask you, how do you feel about that, being part of such a historic event at such a historic setting?
It's really surreal.
Yeah.
It's really surreal.
I guess it's something you never really expected you'd have to do, I suppose.
No, I think because she was one of those people you assume she's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
And it did all happen very quickly, but it's a real privilege to have been able to do it.
On this occasion.
Yeah.
That is the right thing. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
That's all right.
Cheers, Al. There we go. Hello, I'm just going to look if anyone is looking really like they really want to be interviewed. I thought I might catch the MP, but here we've got another council. Hello, Richard. Go on. I'm going to have to shake you left-handed because I'm holding this. I'm doing a live stream at the moment. How do you feel about being part of this event here today?
Oh, I think what a place to meet with the Elizabethan garden behind us. This sense of history that we have here in Kenilworth, with the dictum of Kenilworth, which is a very important document in the constitution of our country, or at least of England.
You could argue that's where the right to vote is ratified.
You could indeed, yes. So I think it's a really inspiring place to do it, and to have 3 times more people here in Kenilworth than the one in Warwick District in Lamington.
Oh, lovely. There were definitely more people here than there were in Coventry as well earlier.
Really? That's surprising.
Well, the thing is, oh dear, hang on. I thought I'd turn the microphone off then, I haven't. I think part of it is that this one was maybe later in the day.
Yes,
and I think a lot of them were.
Timing is always everything.
They were announced quite late. Oh, you might be able to hear in the distance. That is the "Get Out of the Castle" bell. Technology that hasn't changed for the best part of 40 years, as far as I'm aware, possibly even longer.
Yeah.
There we go. You can see him in the distance. There is a bloke over there with a bell, and that is a very unsubtle way of saying, "Get out! I want to go home."
Nice to see you.
Thanks very much, Rich. Cheers. He's going to go around the back. In fact, you know what? So, as I was saying about the castle itself, so this is the Great Tower, the Strong Tower, Caesar's Tower, or the Keep that was built by Geoffrey Clinton. Over there is the Great Hall. Now, the remnants of that building were built around 1370 by John of Gaunt. However, that is actually the site in the original Great Hall. On that site, that is where King Edward II abdicated in the year 1330. The very first abdication of a King of England happened in that building. And we'll just swing round over here. This is Leicester's building, not to be confused with Leicester's Tower, built by Robert Dudley around 1570, when that was basically part of a last-ditch effort to persuade Queen Elizabeth I to marry him. Anyway, as we're getting chucked out, I think I should probably... Oh, yes.
We videoed it for Town Council up until the point where we played the anthem.
Yes.
Could you?
I should have all that. Yeah.
Could you share?
I will put this on Facebook as soon as I finish.
Brilliant.
Later today, but hopefully, because the thing is, I stood up when the National Anthem happened. The phone was still on the floor, so hopefully everything's worked out fine. The only problem is you're going to hear me louder than everyone else.
That's all right.
Though I do think that there were a few people who hadn't got who came in a bit late.
Yes.
I think Jeremy Wright came in late. Yeah, I think he was a verse behind. Sorry, a line behind. But yeah, absolutely, not a problem.
And what we particularly want is the hip hip hooray as well, because that's on the page.
Yeah, that should absolutely happen.
Yeah, you should have that. It was on Gemma's phone, so by the time she Bluetooth.
If you need to, I can send you the original file if you need to cut it up. If you need to edit it, basically.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, it depends how big it is.
Okay.
You know what?
Well,
I'll put it on Facebook tonight, and then if you need anything else, just tell me.
All right.
Okay. No problem.
What's your Facebook?
Well, I'll put it on Vibes, so you can find it.
Can you put it on ours as well?
I don't know. I don't know if I have to be admin to do that.
Gemma.
There we go. It seems.
So Jan's got the whole thing. I didn't get in your way, did I, when I moved?
No.
I suddenly thought I was trying to move away from the children.
And they were very well behaved when it started. They've been running around like buggers until then. But when it started, absolutely quiet. Yeah, I should have the whole thing.
Put it on Vibe.
No, of course, this is part of the recording as well. We're still going.
Okay. So maybe can we copy it? Yeah. From them, and then if you happy for us to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. Okay.
Proper history in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I'm saying. And there we go. There's the bell. There's the get the hell out. I want to go home bell. Yeah, but I think people are slowly. Slowly moving away. Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. Okay, now let's see. I think there we are. Oh dear. Anyway, oh dear, I was going to press the wrong button then. Anyway, that is pretty much it from the proclamation here. So I think I've missed our MP. Yeah, I missed him. So that's pretty much it from the proclamation here at Kenilworth Castle. I will be back here in a week or so to do an actual tour of the inside of the castle. It's a 75-minute tour because it's a massively historical place, and doing it from the inside, you can even go up that bit over there now. Since they did a lot of work on it about 4 years ago, and there's now wooden steps inside the thing. Right, you can be able to see the metal balcony in the middle of the shot there. Yeah, and have a look see the tours I've got coming forward as well. Though having said that, and I haven't cancelled it yet, but I have got a set of tours for the Coventry Transport Museum on September the 19th, which is obviously now the day of Her Majesty's funeral. So they will have to be cancelled, but I've not cancelled them yet because I want to hopefully get a replacement date. I was going to do them the Tuesday after, which would be the 27th anyway. But yeah, this is pretty much it from why don't I give you a few more shots of the place, because obviously that's sort of the picture. There's, if you go to school in Kenilworth or you're a member of one of the sports clubs, that's the badge. In fact, I actually know who the kid was. It was Austin Hanson, because my son used to play rugby with his older brother. But if it had turned round, you'd have seen the Kenilworth Rugby Union badge, and that obviously it's got this on it. Not quite from that angle, but there you go. And the old barn over there, that was built by the Dudley family in the 16th century. And yeah, the day of the funeral is Monday. It's the 19th of September, and that means there will be a bank holiday here in the UK. So we all get the day off, though. As I say, that it's not like, say, the coronation will be, where people will go down to London and flood the streets, because the Queen, after she's currently lying in state at Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh. Well, she should have just got to Edinburgh during the course of this feed, and she'll lie in state there for a couple of days. She'll then be brought to Westminster Hall in London, and the funeral will take place at Westminster Abbey, so it's literally on the other side of the road. And obviously that will be broadcast worldwide, and that will be the 19th of September, Monday the 19th. So we get a bank holiday for that here in the UK. And I'm very much not getting into the debate of which royal is best. I don't think, now's not the time. But I am, before I sign off, I am going to show you this last shot of Kenilworth Castle with all these people streaming out. And there we go. It was the mayor of Kenilworth who read the proclamation. Yes. So it's basically the senior local government figure, because you could argue that. Oh, hang on a sec. I said we've managed to avoid the MP, but here he comes. Jeremy, I haven't seen you since that day in the Chippy.
I suspect that's probably right.
So
I suspect that's probably right.
Just before COVID. Well, so what do you think today?
I think today is one of those days that everybody's going to remember. And I think you could see the number of people from Kenilworth who were here to celebrate the life of one monarch and to celebrate the advent of another. And this is a moment that I think most of us knew was coming, but all of us weren't quite ready for. And I think that's one of the things I've taken away from this last few days, that people have been knocked sideways personally in a way they weren't expecting. And so this has been a really special experience, I think, for everybody. And I hope everyone will remember it, whatever age they are. We've had the oldest, the youngest around the castle today. And it's been wonderful, I think, to share that with everyone.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Pleasure, good to see you.
Cheers, I'll see you yourself. Bye-bye. So there you go. That was Jeremy Wright, the MP for Kenilworth and Southam, and I think that would be an excellent place to leave this. So all that remains to say is thank you for joining me today from Kenilworth Castle for the proclamation of the new king. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for all the follows. Thank you very much for all the tips as always. And I say you can find out what tours I've got coming up in the future on Hago, John Ball Tours. I say I will be back here in Kenilworth Castle doing tours around the inside in the next couple of weeks. And all that remains to say is thank you very much and goodbye.